About a year ago, I met a young woman who came and did my woodwork course, and her skills were just like nothing I'd ever seen. And with that, she was bubbly and vivacious and absolutely loved woodwork. And she'd had a bit of an experience, but nothing that I was expecting. So she came along and did my 3-day furniture making course, basic furniture making course, and she just blew me out of the water. And she's been coming lots since. We've done lots together, and she's just off and running with woodwork. And I want her to tell you about her experience and her story, basically. So I want you to meet Amelia.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm going to share my story with my experience with Patt with you. My background originally was in shirt tailoring, so I'm a seamstress and a pattern maker, and I worked in London at a bespoke shirt tailors for 2.5 years, and then when I came back to Australia, I was trying to make shirts and dresses out of secondhand bed sheets and sell them at the markets, but I wasn't really feeling it, and I'd always had this long desire to learn how to use power tools and build things and make things, but I never really had the access. I didn't really grow up with men in my life who knew how to do that, so I was kind of seeking that out, and it took a while kind of for me to get access to that. I kind of asked a lot of people if they could teach me things, and lots of people promised that they would, but they never really found the time. And then I ended up finding myself with a bit of time, and I found out that I could do this certificate 2 in construction at TAFE, and I thought, oh, all right, I got the time to do that. I'm going to check this out. It's a 10-week course. That'll really kind of give me a foundation and let me see, if it's something that I do really enjoy. So I did this 10-week course, and it was pretty entertaining because I was probably one of the few people who actually wanted to be there, and everyone else was there trying to bludge the doll. They were all just like ratbag 17-year-olds. So I was buzzing the whole time. Everything I learned, it was fantastic. And when I finished doing that, I started thinking seriously about trying to get an apprenticeship in carpentry. And so I was working in a bakery at the time, and trying to get odd jobs here and there where I could, just to get experience and just continue to build on this knowledge. But it was quite hard, and I didn't quite have the confidence then to ask people. I felt pretty out of my depth being a woman asking for this kind of work, and labouring is really quite intense. And so with all this in mind, I was kind of juggling, trying to figure out what to do. And I talked to a few people, and a few people suggested I study architecture because of all the things that I was interested in, and I thought, oh, I'm not smart enough to do that. But I thought, I'm going to apply anyway, because I'm really was interested in everything that architecture had to offer. It really kind of brought together my interests, and and I do really love design, and so I did apply for architecture, and I actually did get in. And when I got in, I thought, I better go. This is an incredible opportunity, So I did. In 2016, I went and I studied architecture for a year, and I absolutely loved it. But I kind of, after a year of it, I realised that I was really missing the hands-on stuff. Like, I've always been a maker. I like using my hands and touching things, and architecture is, very much about drawing and using computers, and I just kind of had this realisation that as an architect, my job would be to sit at a computer all day or draw, and that horrified me. And I had this kind of moment like, I'd actually rather sand all day. It was quite a funny realisation, because I do actually do a lot of sanding now, and I go, oh, I wish I brought this upon myself. But so after that year, I just thought, I'm gonna take I'm going to take a break and just take a semester off and go back to exploring this love of woodwork. And I'd heard about Pat's course a few times, you know, her name kept popping up, and for whatever reason I didn't look into it at the time. I didn't have the money, or I didn't have the time, or whatever. And yeah, she popped up again, and I thought, right, I'm gonna give this woman a call. You know, I think I was starting to seek out mentors, especially female ones that were working in woodwork and building, and to try and, I guess, you know, network and find a safe place where I could explore this. And and I met Pat, and it was just kind of, you know, she had the same excitement that I have, and interest and spark in the world, and then I did this course, and it was funny because I thought, oh, you know, maybe I've already learned a few too many things, and it might be, you know, a bit boring or whatever, because I'm going to relearn some stuff. And it actually was the complete opposite. I was buzzing. I left every day just on this high, just all this information that I'd gotten, and also the confidence that she instilled in me. I don't know. Yeah, it's just funny. It's just the way that I'd been taught before. I never felt like I'd been given the full picture, or been given the time to really like understand what I was using, and the safety, and and also to just be, I guess, put in a position where you're encouraged and made to feel capable. You know, I think a lot of the time when I learned from men, they'd be like, oh, it's a big scary power tool, you got to be careful, you know, and Pat just instilled this confidence in me, and it was so powerful. So I just got so much energy and inspiration from being at Pat's course. And it was funny because my best friend had decided to come along on the course with me, which I never expected. I'm pretty used to just doing things on my own and when I want to do them, and she was like, I'll do that with you. And you know, she got the same experience. We wanted such different things. She just wanted to be able to feel comfortable using tools and stuff as well, but I really wanted to see if I could turn this into a career, or you know, work. And it was so great to watch her get as much out of it, and actually everyone gets so much out of it in such different ways, you know. It was like, you know, there were 4 of us, and all at different levels, and I picked things up really quickly because I've got pattern making background, and then my architecture has also helped me be able to visualize things. So, you know, I was sponging everything up, and and I was on a high, and then after that, you know, Pat really took me under her wing and just continued, you know, to guide me, and you know, she saw how much I loved it, and that I wanted to learn more. So I ended up coming to her weekly classes on the Mondays and just continuing to learn. And I learned how to do dovetails, and you know, picked that up pretty quickly. You know, things were quite natural for me, and that was very exciting. And then I was, you know, picking up a little bit of work here and there. I was still working at the bakery, but, you know, I was getting a few connections through people I know, working with a cabinet maker, working with a builder, doing bits and pieces. I ended up going to Sydney and doing some set building, and also working for a guy the same guy who does set building, like builds things for artists and stuff like that. So I started to get access to all this really interesting stuff, and it was so exciting. And then and so I just kept going. I decided after that, no, I'm not going back to uni. This is actually what I want to do, and I don't know how I'm going to make it work. I don't know what area of carpentry I want to go into. I'm going to keep exploring. I'm going to keep working with different people, and I'm just going to see what happens. So I continued to do that, and then you know, I think it was probably 3 or 4 months after I'd done Pat's course, I went, yeah, I'm going to leave my bakery job, and I'm just going to go freelance. I've got, you know, I had some work lined up that was kind of secure, and I just took the leap. and I've been doing that since. I think it'll be coming up to, it'll be nearly a year since I took that leap, and I've survived. There was one 3-week period where I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to go back to do cafe work, but you know, I just, I kept putting my feelers out, and now, like, I'm working for one of the best furniture makers in Byron, and I'm learning so much, and there's still lots of juicy little opportunities that keep appearing. So, you know, in a year from meeting Pat, my whole life really blossomed, and I really attribute Pat's teaching, but also her encouragement and the confidence she instills in you when she teaches. Pat has a quality of teaching that's incredible. It's really hard to define, but she keeps you inspired, she keeps you excited, and makes you believe that you can kind of do anything, and that's a really rare and special quality. So it's been an incredible experience, and it will continue to be an incredible experience.